again, you have the opportunity, or members of the public will have the opportunity, as they rate the Akufo-Addo-led government just half year into, or half term into the term of the MPP administration. And so just the way we do it usually for clusters or semester examinations or mid-semester examinations is on a scale of 1 to 10. So you have the opportunity to do this, to do the rating as well. But you can also join in the conversation because as we join with Mama View Oso Abwaje and Kojo Yankson, who is one of the lead moderators for the whole Joy FM scorecard, you also could be letting into the conversation via the various social media platforms we have. And we have JoyNews on TV, which is our regular page on Facebook. We're also streaming the live, so that's a good thing about it. We're also live on My Joy Online TV, which is on YouTube, and we have a Twitter handle at JoyNews on TV. But you were met with some tragedy 3 days ago, and I have to say that my condolences are to you, my very good friend. You're a pharmacist at the Boko Presbyterian Hospital, as well as your wife Floran, and pharmacist Salifu Combat. Good morning to you. I know it's not a good time, but please just take heart. God knows best. Now let's move on, and I have to introduce to you my visitor for the morning, Norvan Akwaheford, with our business team. Norvan, good morning to you.
Good morning to you,
yes,
Roland.
How are you? How was your night? You slept well?
Oh, not really, but we are back again.
Yeah.
Work must go on.
I know, right? So usually, what time do you sleep?
Sometimes around 11 p.m.
Around 12, 11.
Yeah, because you still have things to do.
Yeah.
You know, you just don't.
Journalists, that kind of lifestyle needs to stop.
And then you are awakened on your way very early in the wee hours of the day.
So when usually do you wake up?
Oh, well, by 3, that's when I'm late. 3 a.m. I'm awake.
Your standard time?
Yeah, my standard time.
You drink a lot of coffee? No, I'm not here to interrogate your life. So what we're here to do is interrogate the newspapers. The stories are published.
Sure.
You want to help us start?
Okay, so we'll start with the Daily Graphic this morning. On the front page, it says power supply stabilized, Energy Minister assures, and also Yoko CID hand for cryptocurrency campaigns, and don't use honorary titles. They are not PhDs. That is the UG Vice Chancellor speaking there. Noguchi launches initiative to eliminate yellow fever from Africa. That's at the back page. And 220 mining guards yet to be deployed. That's for the Daily Graphic this morning. From there, we move to the Finder newspaper. And on the front page, it says, Amau outage is temporal, but debt-owed IPPs remain big challenge. Problem with Jubilee Field offshore test also to blame on the power outages that we're experiencing, what people will call doomsaw or power rationing that was taking place. He says it's just temporal. And then also on the front page of the Finder, it says no room for weak banks in 2019, that is BOG. And then over 70 civil society organizations declare RTI Red Friday. So this Friday is a Red Friday. You're expected to put on some kind of red to work to ensure that we push for the right to information bill to be passed into law. You know, that's what we have. What have you got?
I've got the Ghanaian Times newspaper has on the front page, no way for doom. So Energy Minister says power outages, and we brought you the story as we filed from that press conference. John Peter Amu, good morning to you, Mr. Amu. It's been a while, and I know you're busy, so it's not easy to meet you very often like we used to do. President Akufo-Addo, Nyasingbe confer in a crown, and then also Vice President presents medals to Ghanaian contingent in Lebanon. And the Ghanaian contingent in Lebanon is serving in the UNIFIL mission. They call them the United Nations Interim Force in Lebanon. Well, forget about the interim. It's not been interim since. Ghana grabs gold at World Skills competition. But on the back page of the paper, the Ghanaian Times, we have Black Queens Black Queen skipper apologizes to Ghanaians. Look, you're forgiven. You're forgiven. But you have on the side 4 chase final slot as Cameroon face Nigeria. And Nigeria, look, they've been winning it since. I think prior to this tournament, have won it 10 times. I hope I'm right. Mali plays South Africa in the tournament semi-finals today as well. So we have 2 matches to look forward to today. Okay. All right. Let me just do the Daily Guide before we go on to the next paper. The Daily Guide newspaper has on the front page, Amidu gets teeth to bite. Law to fight corruption today. That is to be already to be laid in Parliament. And so it has already been laid in Parliament, we're told, or moved on. Auditor General cripples audit service. The Daily Guide seem to be continuing its onslaught on the Auditor General. Nana meets 4 Nyasingbe over Togo crisis. And then Bagbin campaign van kills 2 at a pump. Yeah. May their souls rest in peace. Very unfortunate event. Doomsaw under control, according to the minister. We have center spread stories. Giving my son to NDC was a mistake. Lenny Akpadi, that's what he did. He's paying for it. Reverend Lenny Akpadi, good morning to you. It's been a while. Robert De Niro separate from Grace Hightower. They'd been married for a little over 20 years, according to what the news, but I think they've been separated for some time now. Joyce Blessing says, 3rd baby boy is a blessing. Congratulations to you, Joyce Blessing. And we have Eric Chum saying, I won't abandon gospel for secular music. And Lydia Fossum on not being first pick for roles. Don't worry. You're good, an actress as you can be.
Okay, so we go to the Daily Statesman this morning, and on its front page, it says, no $650 million cocoa cash diverted. And that is Cocoa Board saying that the minority's claim is false. And then also NHIS figures to soar as renewal goes electronic. Also on the front page, social interventions to benefit the most vulnerable in society. And Togo's for Nyasimbe update Akufo-Addo on crisis in that country. Now, before I come back to you, Roland, the Today newspaper Truth and Enlightenment reports Amidu to bite soon as Parliament readies to give him legal backing. And then another interesting story here, Sly blast NDC over Mahama campaign song. That is Sylvester Mensah, who is also a flag bearer aspirant for the NDC, blasting the party for, giving their song. Then you have a story that says no doomsaw, no doomsaw. Obviously, it is Peter Amehu, the Minister for Energy, who had a press conference yesterday to, explain to Ghanaians what the real situation is with regards to the intermittent power outages that we're experiencing.
Were you the one who covered the press conference?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I didn't.
You're done?
Yeah, I'm done.
All right, so let's look at the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Martin Kpebu speaks, and a Khan-speaking vice president, vice presidential candidate, would balance the NDC tickets. We have sad end of Africa's youngest president, now a pauper. Sad end of Africa's youngest president, now a pauper. And some reasons for the creation of OT region, some reasons. OT for development. And it looks like tarred roads in the Volta region. So if you compare the southern Volta to the OT area, 105 of roads in the OT area not done compared to 418 in the southern end of the Volta region. When it comes to landmass in the region, the OT region has 59% landmass compared to 41% of the southern Volta area. And the government clinics in the Volta region, the OT area has 0, and then the southern Volta ends of 5. And then when it comes to doctors to population in the Volta region, the OT area has 1 to 105,000 availability of doctors, and then OT, the southern end, has 1 to 16,000. So that's a justification. If you ask me, we shouldn't create regions. If we know that's the thing, we just send the doctors there. We create the roads for them. Because when you do, how much are we spending for the referendum? It's almost $1 billion Ghana cedis. That's just my mind. Who am I? Also, on the inside pages, we have managing Ghana's waste challenges. And you have all the things. But on the back page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper, it's a story that's always fascinating when covered in Ghana. And I've covered this in my lifetime as a journalist before. Ghana's fantasy coffins taking the final journey in style. And if you're a farmer, they'll do one in cocoa pot or something for you. If you're a medical officer, they'll do some very funny ones like a thermometer, etc. But even though, you know, the old stylish looking thermometers have changed, now they're very electronic. Some are even laser.
If you're a musician, you get a mic.
Yeah, there's a mic too. I've seen a mic too before. So very interesting. Let's look at the Custodian. The Custodian newspaper, and a very good friend of mine is the editor. So Awudu Mahama, good morning to you, Awudu. The Custodian has on the front page, Phase 2 of mobile money interoperability starts November 28th. Interoperability.
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is 28th.
Yes.
All right. I thought today was 30th though. You are making Ghana proud. Baumia praises peacekeepers, and Dr. Baumia was in Lebanon. Good morning to you, Dr. Baumia. Very good work you're doing as a vice president. ACI sues BCM International over mineral royalties, and Ghana go for #1 slot, not running mates. Slide to Voltarians, and Sylvester Mensah, former CEO of the National Health Insurance Authority, did good work while there. Is one of the individuals aspiring to be the presidential candidate of the NDC. Government fortifies Martinamidu to prosecute corrupt officials, and on the back page of the Custodian newspaper, we have no semi-final for Black Maidens. Ronaldo, Juventus continue winning streak against Spal, and United target Koulibaly in world record deal. Well, Koulibaly. So those are the stories we have. Any you want to pick on?
Yes. I
okay,
think
so let's listen to it.
I'll start with the Daily
Please
Graphic.
do start.
And
Norman Akwa Hayford.
Yes, Roland.
You have the floor.
Okay, Roland, very interesting story. Yoko CID hunt for cryptocurrency campaigns, and the story says that over 3,000 depositors set to lose several millions of cedis. And I keep asking myself, can't we just read in between the lines and know the good ones from the bad ones? But what does the story say? It says that the Criminal Investigations Department and the Economic and Organized Crime Office, IOCO, are on manhunt for the directors and operators of a cryptocurrency syndicate who have allegedly swindled more than 3,000 people for their deposits, operating under a unlicensed company named the Global Coin Community Help. That is the GCCH, a deposit-taking institution. The directors and owners are said to have absconded with more than 4 million of depositors' funds. The Daily Graphic has learned the company began as a deposit operating institution, but later transformed into cryptocurrency trading entity, which gave its customers 27% earnings every month for a year. You can imagine 27% every month, monthly. So if you gave them 100,000, you were getting 27,000 every month for a year. And so you multiply that by the 12 months.
Charlie, but this one, it means that by the 5th month you've recovered.
You've recovered, yeah. You would have recovered.
You've recovered with profit to cry.
Of course. And then by the year, you've made enough money because you'd have gone over 100%.
Yeah, sure.
Over 100%.
That's 27%.
Yes.
Every month.
Every month. And you see,
approximately you would have made close to 200 and something percent.
Yeah, I mean, even by
almost 280 or something.
And it's more than that, because if you're looking at 27 should give you some 52 thereabout, and then you already have so it's like you sit and you ask yourself, okay, so why are they giving me 27? What's treasury bill? 13% per annum? I think that's the figure. What is the policy
what
rate?
If maybe, in my ignorant lay Ghanaian mind, lay journalistic mind, it's the banks rather that are cheating us.
Well,
if a mere company like Men's Gold and GCCH can give 10-12%, and then also
monthly,
then we have 27% respectively, then maybe the bank should have been doing better.
Roland,
better than a 13% per annum interest on
cost of operation, and it's just standard.
GCCH, I know them very well.
You know them
very, very, very well.
Well, they've gone with the money.
Yes, of course they've gone with their money.
They've absconded because you see the point is.
I'm feeling teary as you're saying this.
You cannot sustain these kind of things, Roland. I mean, it's quite interesting that people just can't realize it. Because you see,
and you know the let me just know. And you know the type of people who can journalists have invested, bankers. Some of them even work with the central bank. Some of them work with big banks. Some of them are chartered accountants.
Some are lawyers. Some are within the.
Wallah, illallah, mashallah, Allah. Ameen.
Roland, this is quite disheartening and serious thing that we're talking about.
No, what I'm saying, but I have an experience.
Okay, well, that's Roland Walker is telling you. Probably he's put his money in there, and the people are nowhere to be found. So how many months were you able to get?
All the big players that have gone down under, I have experiences. It's not easy. It's not easy talking about it. Sometimes
I can understand.
Some decisions
now.
They said the higher the risks, the higher the return, but some risks are just not worth it.
No, you don't have to.
And I think that sometimes, as people who have gone to school, we just have to read in between the lines.
That's it.
And get the indication that it's not real, that this can continue for a very long time. Because you interact with what the messages are in terms of what they are selling to you. They are unique selling propositions, and you say this is not right. It cannot hold water. It cannot be sustained for a long time.
That's the thing.
Because they rob
Peter to pay Paul.
Yeah, they take from me to pay you. And so they will always continue paying these interests if they have more people coming.
Exactly.
And they need to have more people coming to pay, because look, if you have 200,000, it means they are paying more, right?
Exactly.
They are paying 52,000 every month.
Yes.
It's not possible.
Every month.
52,000, it means that in 4 months you've recovered.
I think that they also sought to use the network marketing model, which, okay, so I bring you on, whilst I bring you on, I'm building points, and then I'm gaining, you understand, as you go. But you see, you forget that these network marketing guys are using products, and these products are sold at particular prices. And so the more you are selling, and you're bringing new people and they're also selling, there are certain margins that are placed on the product that, the manufacturer or whoever has set up the company can say, okay, originally maybe I could sell this thing for 10 cedis. I'm selling it for, let's say, 40 cedis. I can share the extra 30 cedis with, all of you. So everybody gets a share.
Well, let me say good morning to a very good friend of mine who works with in Shirai FM, Awuku. I hope that you haven't invested in any of them. Good morning to you, Awuku.
So it's quite interesting when people do this. And so all the time you should ask yourself, what is even the interest rate as far as,
on the normal market?
On the normal market. I know you can negotiate to, go up a little bit depending on, even with the banks. There are situations where you can put your money in what we call fixed deposits, and depending on how much you are putting in, you can negotiate something. You get it? But these ones are outrageous. I mean, 27% every month. Come on. It's not sustainable. So don't even go there. Now here we are, Yoko and CID will have to be looking for these people and see if they can get hold of them, because 4 million Ghana cedis have gone into their pocket and they can't be found anywhere. And let's move away from that. Another interesting story that keeps coming up all the time.
But we need to discuss this further. But it also means that the Yoko
yes, with the CID of the police
on their back would mean that after they arrest them, they do what? They recover the
Yeah, so you want to find out from the directors of this company.
People have really invested huge sums of money, just like the way stories.
It could be more than the 4 million they're talking about. You never know.
Oh, so 4 million. Yeah. So how do they recover that money and then pay back the investors?
Well, when they get hold of these guys, of course, they would investigate if they have any money anywhere, they have any assets, they have to get hold of that. Because, I mean, now you're not finding them to even know if they even have some kind of monies in their bank accounts or they've transferred the monies to some other places.
I know a lawyer friend of mine who has sued them because he lives close by. Now sued them on behalf of 3 clients.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, the money is not there. Probably new guys were not coming in, and so they couldn't.
No, the thing is that, as you progress, and then you for those who started early, once you hit like 300,000, 400,000, ubejai. Yeah, because that money is huge. Why do you have to keep risking? So once people keep stopping, then it means that it's the latter day saints.
Yeah.
Some of us just fell victim to being latter day saints.
Oh,
maybe
so
because we should have seen Presbyterian Church instead of latter day saints. I think. Yeah.
Well, that's Roland for you. Let's move away from that and then do the story. Don't use honorary titles. They are not PhD. So people are honored with some.
Who is saying that?
And this is coming from the Vice Chancellor, University of Ghana. He says the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ebenezer Odro Owusu, has asked holders of honorary doctorate degrees
I don't agree with him
to lock them up in their drawers and use their right titles. And then I'm quoting him. He says, "Let me stress once again that these titles are not supposed to be used. They are not PhDs. They are honorary degrees. So if you have any of these titles, lock them and use your correct titles." Professor Usu said at the University of Ghana's doctoral forum organized by the School of Graduate Studies, University of Ghana, Legon, on Friday. So he says, look, if, let's say,
I was honored by maybe a church or some school like that. I shouldn't say Dr. Roland Walker.
No, you were not.
Very good, eh?
But you are not. Like that's what you say.
Sure, I didn't.
Say lock it up. You didn't do all the things
that. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, so maybe you should. Yeah,
I think that's a temptation, right? It's got a nice, like for example, Dr. Norvan Alqua Hayford.
Well, someday.
Yeah.
Very soon.
But not honorary.
No, not honorary.
Okay.
Not honorary. I mean,
but at the end of the day, I think that we live in a society in which, per our socio-economic underpinnings and what our customs and traditions have been, we tend to honor, give reverence.
To whom is due?
Well, not necessarily whether to whom is due, to people. So whether it's due them, of course, if you're not due, you won't be honored. Either maybe you did some humanitarian work or whatever it is. So you get to find at the end of the day, people, because of the linkage with our socio-cultural traditions or the way we've always believed in honoring people, we tend to carry that in the titles that are given us in those investitures or honors. And so that may be playing our mindset to be using those titles like doctor, this and that, whilst we know it's just an honorary doctorate degree that was given to you. But in reality, on the other side, we've had people, either entrepreneurs or ministers of God or traditional leaders or people who have done good, who could even teach in a university or teach people some kind of academic work, who have been given some honorary titles. Would you say they don't deserve it? Because, for example, if you have a business magnate, somebody who has risen through all the ranks of life, selling on the streets, having an enterprise, building big businesses, employing many people, using all forms of models of business or entrepreneurship to build an enterprise, who has been given an honorary degree, that person should be able to teach in an MBA class somewhere in a university, because elsewhere in the States they do that. But if that type of person is honored, are you saying that person shouldn't use the title?
Okay, Roland, I think that some of the questions that we ought to continue to raise is, what is the value of these honorary titles that
it's all recognition. It's not recognition.
I'm coming, Roland. I mean, that are conferred on people who seem to have done good or have excelled in their field of endeavor in society. So you want to find out from the universities, how do you value it as against probably Roland Walker, who has gone through all the academic work, done all the publications he needs to do, defended his thesis, all the publications that you expected to do, you've done them, for which reason you earn that, PhD, doctorate is given to you. So you want to find out. The universities should be able to tell us what the value of these are. Because if, let's say, tomorrow, Ernest Chemist is honored as a doctor. Remember, he started from somewhere. All the way from, is it Okanshi or Kaneshi, in a store. He's moved to be able to establish a company that within the African region is recognized. Today, he's putting up a factory that will serve the whole of the West African region.
So somebody like that,
you understand? And the company has grown.
Just because he decided to focus on his business and not go to school,
yes,
to get a PhD.
Yes.
Are you saying that he doesn't deserve or shouldn't call himself doctor? That's all I want.
These are the questions we should pose to the vice chancellors and the people in academia.
Or is it,
so they should tell us what's the difference.
Or is it that, well, in the world of academia, if you're a PhD holder and you're called doctor, that's accepted. But if that same academic institution confers honorary doctorate on somebody else, how do we call that person?
What do they even look out for, Roland, in order to say, we think this man deserves that honorary doctorate degree, so let's confer that on him. So they should be able to tell us the things that they look out for, and then they do those things that they do. And why he's saying today that those people cannot and should not use those.
Thirdly, we have some of the awarding institutions. I mean, clearly they don't have good recognition, and they don't have a very good foundation and that type of record in the world of academia or wherever for them to be awarding honorary doctorate. But if, let's say, a university like University or Harvard,
or his own University of Ghana, yes, which they have honored a lot of people,
what do I do? If, let's say, even we have top-notch University of Ghana, Harvard, you have Oxford,
MMIT,
yeah,
you can talk of Oxford,
London School of Economics,
all those places.
Cardiff, they honor you, Charlie.
Tomorrow, London School of Economics calls me and says, "We think you've done well."
Ghana, KUST, for say, London School of Economics.
You shouldn't call yourself Dr. Roland Walker.
To even be in Ghana, to be recognized by London School of Economics, it's a serious thing. So if you come say, I think they should, is it because, what's the criteria? Is it because this one is, because it's honorary, I didn't go to the school, etc. And there's this, there's this story about Dr. Carson. And then there's another story about a black man who also taught at the Johns Hopkins Medical School. Yeah. He started as a carpenter, then started learning the trade of laboratory technology.
Yeah.
And trained himself to even come and teach, do surgery. He was teaching surgery at the medical school of Johns Hopkins, and then got honored. He had the title conferred on him. And then if you go to Johns Hopkins right now, you will find his picture or his painting there. And it is not everybody who has his painting in the hallway of Johns Hopkins Medical School or Johns Hopkins University. Hallway, it's one of the foremost leading medical schools and research institutions in the world, if not the best in the world. And you have your, and he taught from the beginning students who became great professors, etc. And prior to his retirement, then he was given that honor. They called him doctor. In America, when you're a doctor, they call you professor. All their top professors who learned in the university and acquired the PhD and became professors have their paintings in the hallway of Johns Hopkins. And now he has his painting there.
as well.
John Hopkins University. Now he was honored. He has taught many great surgeons. Himself is a great surgeon. Now you come today, and then you say that he will not be recognized because it was conferred on him as an honor. You see, that's the question.
That's what.
So for example,
Prof. Odro also
I
has
understand.
to be answering.
For example, you see, the things that NS chemists and those people do, that's the thing that they teach in MBA classes.
That's the interesting.
So if the one who has lived is a testimony of the practical,
where we could use his work,
fantastic.
as an example.
It's only black people we don't like ourselves. You see, practical has lived it. His company is recognized. He's honored as doctor. You university, you see, you haven't even you have not only to say what you are saying. You've gone to school, but we need to do the assimilation. Try to do the alignment to see who recognizes who, and then the institutions that tend to do the recognition. What kind of recognition do they give those that they recognize?
Exactly.
So that we need to do that. If the University of Ghana confers an honorary doctorate on anybody, it's a serious title. It's serious. I will take it. When University of Ghana gives me honorary, I will use it throughout my life. But if University of Ghana says that maybe some Bodra University is honorary, so this one who don't recognize it, I will take it.
Yeah, because
but University of Ghana, KNUST, those big universities, I will take it any day.
Clearly, I agree with you, Roland.
What you're not Johns Hopkins, London School of Economics, they give you honorary. Now, what's Ghana? Now, what's it? Me. That's me.
You're very passionate about this.
I'm local boy, so this is my thing.
I agree with you, Roland, because I think that Prof needs to come back again, and we need to be able to tell the difference
if you are saying that
the unrecognized institutions who are conferring, these honorary degrees on people
have done good
but
work.
You can't have,
let me even
well-known universities. But away from that, let's go to some other story. I think that Agric must be a game-changer precedent, and that is in the Finder newspaper this morning. And it says that the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, reiterated his government's commitment to make agriculture a game-changer in the country's journey towards prosperity. Now, he was unhappy about Ghana's agricultural production output, which paled in comparison to statistics from neighboring Cote d'Ivoire, where a population of about 25 million rakes in some $16 billion annually from agriculture, whereas Ghana, with a population of 30 million, accrues a meager $2 billion annually from the same sector. And that's quite interesting. The president, Roland, speaking.
Yes. Now, I've gotten the person. You asked me. It's called Dr. Vivian Thomas. He has a movie called Something the Lord Made.
Yeah, Something the Lord Made. I've watched that movie. Very nice.
Dr. Vivian Thomas. Now, Dr. Vivian Thomas, now we'll say, Professor you were saying.
Anyway, now let's look at the agriculture sector. Now, the president is kind of making some statement thinking that, look, as a country, we need to make sure that we do a lot in the agriculture sector, because he feels that the country's prosperity cannot be achieved if we do not work in the agri sector. The question remains, how much are we investing in the sector? When I was in primary school all the way to JHS, and even in senior high school, SHS we call it today, I remember very well the simple thing we were taught: agriculture makes up 60% of our economy, it employs majority of Ghanaians. We're told all these things, but is that the case today? Obviously, no. We have seen the agriculture sector dwindle in terms of even budgetary allocations. And so a government must make it a priority. If the president today is saying that agric must be a game changer, because he did some comparison, comparing Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire. He says 25 million are raking in some 25 million, some $16 billion annually. But a population of 30 million, we are raking in just 2 billion, which is a sad distinction, if you want to put it that way, in that literal terms. We need, as a people, and he as the president must lead the charge and begin to oil the you know, the various engines of growth as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. I mean, access to credit is a problem for these farmers. Access to farm equipment is a problem for these farmers. We've not made it attractive for our brothers and sisters who finished university to want to go in there and, you know, farm. There are so many things people could do in the various sectors of the sector. But if he has seen this, that he must lead the charge. We must not just talk about the planting for food and jobs and then just leave it as it is. This year we said we're going to do rearing for farm animals or whatever. We talked about having a ranch, you know, huge one. I think 250 acres of land or hectares that is supposed to be used.
It's called rearing for food and jobs.
For food and jobs.
You don't know.
I mean,
it's
really,
in the budget.
Yeah, it's in there, but quite interesting. I mean, have we even exhausted and done well with the planting for food and jobs? These things must be done, and then we can.
I think that if we want to measure up, then we have to measure with Southern Africa, that is locally, or on the African continent.
No, well, he was
and then Northern
Africa. Just Cote d'Ivoire next door.
And then we also have to measure up with the Asians, and then also what has been done in Europe and America. I mean, they use technology, and some of the best farm acreages are all there. Now let's go through online. Novan, can you go through online for us?
Yes. Okay. So we see Major online. He says late Adakon will receive befitting barrier. That is Akufo-Addo speaking there. And I think that that's the story. Let's move to the next one. It says you can achieve more with less. Ablakwa cancels on OGM staffing. That is Ablakwa there. The next story is ICT experts develop digital software for Ghana's sanitation solution. That's the story. It says a group of young guys have been able to put together something that we can do. WAEC withholds results of 2,160 private candidates over exam malpractice. This keep happening all the time. Something must be done. And then it says, don't peddle falsehood on Sundays. Blackwater jabs upon Kroma and power outages. Power outages, money related, not technical. Minority insist over them. We move on. SNIT replaces biometric cards with national IDs. And then the very last one that we have, LI on Special Prosecutor Office finally laid in the House. That is in Parliament.
Oh, good. Yeah. And we have doomsday due to liquidity challenges. Think tank counters government explanation. Oh, you are? Let's see how it goes. What do we say?
Well, I mean, I think that as a country, there's more that we can do. Scorecard is going on today.
Yes, today.
Starting at 8
we'll bring you live all that will be taking place before the main event is a Joy FM scorecard. But let's bring to you the latest sports headlines. Benedict Osu and the rest of the team is standing by.